Welcome to History with Master Squishies. In today's video, we'll be covering the history of the Dicker Max. We'll be going over who made it, the design, what nations used it, some of the battles that took place in, and how it performs in-game. To start off with, the Dicker Max, also called the Panzer SFL 4 Ausf, or this name, which I can't pronounce nor will I attempt, and was given the nickname Dicker Max. It was a German self-propelled gun designed and produced by Krupp in 1939 to 1941, with a total production number of 2. The Dicker Max was designed in 1939 when the Army Design Office 6 asked Krupp to make a bunker buster tank. While development was underway, the Panzer IV chassis was selected to be used over the Panzer III due to the Panzer IV being readily available. By the time it was completed, France had fallen and the trials would begin March 1941, with hopes that full-scale production would begin in 1942. Since France had fallen, the Dicker Max would change roles from a bunker buster to a tank destroyer and would be sent to the Eastern Front. The two tanks would then provide indirect fire support and mobile tank destroying. However, due to the power and size of the gun, the crew could not observe the shots because of the dust cloud it would create. Thus, the crew would have to rely on the other tank or battlefield observers. Because of the Dicker Max's size and speed, it could not participate with the lead units. The limited traverse of the gun also was a negative, as the entire tank had to pivot when aiming, which was time-consuming and often caused problems with the terrain when off-road. And the lack of armor except on the front made it vulnerable to flanking and air attacks. The Dicker Max was equipped with a fixed frontal superstructure mounted with a 10.5cm count on 18. It had a maximum of 50mm of armor and a minimum of 10mm of armor. It had a crew of 5, a weight of 24 tons, a length of 5.8 meters or 19 feet, a width of 2.86 meters or 9.5 feet, a height of 2.53 meters or 8.4 feet, and a speed of 17 miles per hour. Next, we'll move on to its operational history. The Dicker Max was only used by Germany on the Eastern Front. The first records start June 1941 at Cobrin, where they successfully hit infantry positions, open artillery, and disabled attacking motorcycles at a range of 1,100 meters to 1,700 meters. On their way to Slugs, an accident occurred when the ammo from a Dicker Max caught fire and destroyed the tank in an explosion. Though not confirmed, it's likely this was caused by a buildup of heat from the engine, igniting the ammo stored close to it. The last Dicker Max would continue in an attempt to stop a Soviet armored train from escaping, but due to a mechanical failure, it could not stop it in time. Later, the tank would engage an enemy column at 4,000 meters, which gave the crew adequate safety from the Soviet forces since their guns had troubles hitting a target out that far and were unable to stop. The Dicker Max fired on the Soviet column, disabling the track on the first tank. 3 follow-up shots were fired, but none of them hit their mark due to the effective range being 2,400 meters. The observer for the Dicker Max then watched the lead tank, now confirmed to be a KV-1, crew destroy their own tank and flee, followed by 2 T-34s being immobilized by the Dicker Max and suffering the same fate as the crews destroyed their own tanks. During a defensive battle, the crew of the Dicker Max scouted for a suitable position to set up their tank. Upon returning, a T-34 approached their area without knowing it. The crew, using the advantage of surprise, destroyed the T-34 at a range of 100 meters, followed by them immobilizing a second T-34 at 1,000 meters. But it would be recovered by the Soviets later that night. It then encountered a T-34 and 2 T-26 tanks at around 1,200 meters, but was unable to advance further. The crew immobilized the T-34, but failed to hit either T-26 as they managed to escape into the forest. The Dicker Max was then pulled from the front lines and put under maintenance until it was redeployed alongside 2 Sturry Mules for the assault on Stalingrad, during which, this period, it was most likely pulled from the battle and became a reserve vehicle. Finally, the Dicker Max would fall silent on October 1942, with the last photo being taken on December 1942 by Soviet soldiers. Finally, we'll move on to how it performs in War Thunder versus how it performed historically. In War Thunder, the Dicker Max is pretty well done. The maximum armor is right with it being 50mm, but wrong with the minimum being 20mm. The gun is right with it being a 10.5 centimeter, count on 18, and the speed is right at 17 miles per hour. All in all, the Dicker Max is really well done, and I don't see any major changes that needs to be done besides maybe changing the minimum armor back down to 10 millimeters. So with all that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, squish that like button, subscribe, and let me know what you want to hear about next. I'll see you in the next one.